to someone like Ice Spice. But I also know that visibility while incarcerated also breeds the wrong type of surveillance and the wrong type of attention.
In September, Tay pleaded guilty to one charge of attempted possession of a criminal weapon in the second degree. He was moved to an upstate prison to serve the rest of a 3-year sentence. I haven't been able to speak to him since his move upstate, but he made it clear before his sentencing he wasn't about to give up.
I don't like downfalls, so I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to make it work. It's going to happen with me. With Tay 627, it's going to happen. Anything's possible.
Tay will be eligible for release next year. When he gets out, he plans to release his first EP, NYC's Boldest, and start performing. Jesse Edwards, WNYC News.
Miss woke up in her like the ops, they need me. Got the belt on my back like the BB. Seeing me shine, now she wanna see me. Good sex, throw back like the CD. Throw 10 and I pass it to Kiki. Anybody get slime like sleazy.
Support for WNYC comes from the new group presenting Sabbath's Theater, based on Philip Roth's novel, starring John Turturro, Elizabeth Marble, and Jason Kravitz, directed by Joe Bonney, written by Ario Levy and John Turturro, now through December 17th. More at thenewgroup.org.
Marketplace Morning Report is coming up next, and then in 10 minutes at 9 o'clock, it's the BBC NewsHour on WNYC. Let's check in with London to see what they're working on. London, good morning.
Good morning, WNYC. I'm Nuala McGovern. On today's NewsHour, Israel's foreign minister expects diplomatic pressure over its actions in Gaza to increase significantly in the coming weeks. And we'll discuss whether that will change the situation for those who live there. That's BBC NewsHour coming up at 9 on WNYC.
49 with sunshine in the big city right now, on our way to a 51-degree high on this Tuesday under sunny skies, breezy and gusty as well. Then tomorrow mostly sunny and 52. Thursday slightly warmer. It's it.
Inflation in the U.S. took a break for the month of October.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by C3 AI. C3 Generative AI provides ChatGPT enterprise search that is verifiable, secure, and accurate across all enterprise data. C3.ai. This is enterprise AI. And by Affinity, provider of the CRM for the private capital relationship economy. Affinity knows who has the best relationship with the right startup. Affinity.co/marketplace.
From Marketplace, I'm Sabri Benishore, in for David Brancaccio. Between September and October, prices did not rise. According to the CPI out this morning, compared to a year earlier, prices were up 3.2%, but that pace represents a significant slowdown in annual price increases, more than what surveys show economists expecting. Meanwhile, the House of Representatives is getting ready to go through some procedural votes to keep the government open for the short term and not run out of money after this Friday and partially shut down. The credit rating agency Moody's has lowered its outlook for America's credit rating to negative, citing what it called continued political polarization and large deficits, but it hasn't quite downgraded the country yet. Fitch, on the other hand, has earlier this year, which raises the question, what does it actually mean for a country when its credit gets dinged? Marketplace's Nancy Marshall-Genzer reports.
If you or I got a ding to our credit rating, banks would see us as a riskier bet. It could be harder to get a loan. Not so for the federal government, says Mark Goldwine, Senior Vice President of the Committee for a Responsible Federal Budget.
People are still investing in the United States of America.
The U.S. borrows money by issuing treasury bonds. Investors still see those bonds as a safe haven, and they still think the U.S. will pay them back. But the lower outlook from Moody's is just the latest warning. Goldwine says 2 other rating agencies have actually lowered their U.S. credit ratings from AAA to AA+, which is still good.
And so this isn't a time to panic, but it is maybe a time to assess how do we make sure our fiscal house is in order and our political system is functioning so that our debt doesn't get out of control at some point in the future.
Goldwine says right now our debt isn't sustainable, and if interest rates stay high, in 2 years, interest payments will become the federal government's second biggest expense, exceeding spending on Medicare and the defense budget. I'm Nancy Marshall-Genzer for Marketplace.
All right, let's do the numbers. S&P and Dow futures soared on that positive inflation news. S&P futures up 1.1%. Dow futures up 0.9%. The 10-year interest rate, also known as the yield on the 10-year Treasury, is down to 4.475%.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by Palo Alto Networks. Palo Alto Networks delivers comprehensive cybersecurity protection while automating cyber defense to stop threats so organizations can thrive. Learn more at paloaltonetworks.com. And by Amazon Business, helping provide a smarter, easier way to get the supplies businesses need to thrive. Amazon Business, your partner for smart business buying. And by Betterment, the automated investing platform that helps make it easy to be invested for the long term. Learn more at betterment.com. Investing involves risk.
Now to a man who for more than half a century has been considered by many to be America's consumer advocate-in-chief, Ralph Nader, an instrumental force behind safety standards for cars, cleaner water, whistleblower protections, and more. Nader has run for president 4 times and has spent a career challenging abuses of corporate power. He now has a book out today where he actually praises some uses of corporate power. Nader's found a dozen examples of company CEOs who he sees as being forces for good. Mr. Nader spoke to my colleague, David Brancaccio.
What's gotten into you, sir? Being nice to CEOs? Are you mellowing?
Well, after a lot of years going after the big CEOs for bad behavior, I thought we needed some comparative yardsticks. Over the years, I've got to know and learn about 12 CEOs in a whole variety of businesses who did it right.
You have some very big top-of-mind names among your list of 12. Yvon Chouinard, the Patagonia guy. But among the 12 you feature are some, I would say, non-household names at this point. Gino Paolucci from Minnesota. This guy founded 70 companies. Chungking Foods, some will remember. Gino's Pizza Rolls, many will remember. What should the world learn from Mr. Paolucci's example?
Well, he grew up real poor in the Iron Range of Minnesota. And he described conditions for the miners beyond belief. And he never forgot where he came from. And then he said, well, I'm going to go out on my own. And he started one company after another. But he insisted on labor unions in his company. And he championed the cause of labor because, again, he never forgot where he came from and how horrible the conditions were in the workplace for his family.
Lots of interesting people on the list here in the book. Anita Roddick from The Body Shop. We interviewed her over the years. Herb Kelleher, that character, founder of Southwest Airlines. I mean, he was a character, right?
He insisted on reversing the business model. So when Southwest was successful, he was the lowest paid executive among all the big airlines, United Airlines, Delta. And when I asked him why, he said, because I started with my people. He would never say associates or employees. If you treat our people well on the airlines and at the counter, they will treat the customers well, and the customers will fly on Southwest Airlines more, and that will make the shareholders happy. So that's what I mean by reversing the business model.
What is it? Among your hopes here for this book is that maybe it would be added to, I don't know, business school curricula?
Yeah, there are just millions of students that are business majors in undergraduate courses and, of course, business schools, and they need a book like this as part of their curriculum to elevate their expectations of the role of business in our country and alert them to what they may be required to compromise in terms of their own principles and keep their conscience at home by bad business practices. And that's what this book hopefully will help turn around.
Consumer advocate Ralph Nader. His new book, brand new, is called The Rebellious CEO, 12 Leaders Who Did It Right. Mr. Nader, thank you very much.
Thank you, David.
That was Marketplace's David Brancaccio there, and there's a lot more to that conversation. David also asked Mr. Nader about whether corporate definitions of capitalism are shifting generally beyond just caring about shareholder value. You can listen to the full conversation at marketplace.org. In New York, I'm Sabri Benishore with the Marketplace Morning Report. From APM, American Public Media.